Hi, my name's Andy Clements, and today's big question is, do you have to do deadlifts to build muscle? And in this video, we're going to give you the answers. So deadlifts have long been considered this essential holy grail of an exercise, all the way back from like the 70s and 80s when the golden era bodybuilders used to do deadlifts all the time. They've always been considered this essential exercise that you can't build muscle without. So do you actually have to do deadlifts in order to build any kind of real muscle on your body? That's what I was pondering when I was thinking about this video, and the answer is no. You don't have to do conventional style deadlifts in order to build any kind of real muscle on your body. You can in fact build a hell of a lot of muscle by doing all sorts of other different kinds of exercises to grow different parts of your body. But there is a big however here, okay? And the however is that doing a heavy pulling movement of some description, whether it's a conventional deadlift or something else, has a wide range of benefits and can massively accelerate the muscle building process, okay? So while you don't have to do the conventional deadlift in order to build muscle, doing some sort of heavy pulling movement, whether it's a deadlift or something similar, can massively accelerate. And it can accelerate the process for two reasons. First of all, doing a deadlift or a heavy pulling movement is going to massively accelerate the growth of your posterior chain. So essentially what we're talking about there is the muscles on the back half of your body. So your traps, your erectors, your glutes, your hamstrings, all those muscles around the back half of your body. Now they are kind of like the spine of your body. They're kind of like the power muscles of your body, okay? So by building those up, you're then able to even, you're building muscle full stop, so you're building muscle on the back half of your body, but B, even if your goal is to build muscle on the front half of your body and kind of t-shirt training stuff, having a strong back half of your body means that you're able to better stabilize and brace yourself when you're training the front half of your body. So there's no downside to this. You're literally going to be able to strengthen your entire body, which is going to be useful when you train the front half of your body, when you're doing your chest and your shoulders and your quads and stuff like that, okay? So that's the first thing. And there's obviously posture improvements as a relation to that as well. So if you're building the back half of your body, you're able to draw your body a little bit taller and a little bit more straight rather than t-shirt training all the time, building your pecs and not building anything else, and rounding the shoulders and having the poor posture, which isn't going to be great for muscle building, and it's going to increase the risk of injury. So that's the first thing, okay? So that's the posterior chain thing. The second thing is it's going to increase your nervous system's ability to handle weight, okay? To handle big amounts of weight, okay? This is something that can't be understated. If you want to build a lot of muscle, you need to be able to be comfortable lifting a lot of weight. Now, that's not going to happen overnight. That's not something you're going to be able to just, switch on and off like that. You need to sort of, utilize progressive overload and build your strength over time, which is obvious, and we all know that kind of stuff. But by doing a heavy pulling movement of some description, you're going to lift more weight on that exercise than you will on most other exercises, and you're also going to have it coming through your entire body, okay? It's not just going to be like it's just on the legs or anything like that. It's pretty much a full body exercise. So you're going to be improving and increasing your nervous system's ability to handle that kind of weight rather than just the muscle, because the nervous system's all going to adapt to it, okay? So if you can adapt your nervous system to be used to lifting much heavier loads than you would be on, bicep curls or side raises or isolation moves like that, you're going to be able to translate that across the board so that when you start pushing your weights up on other exercises like chest exercises or rows or presses or whatever it is, it's not going to feel like such a massive load coming down on you because your nervous system's used to handling the biggest loads that you can lift on the deadlift or the heavy pulling movement, like we're going to go through in a minute. So just for those two reasons alone, and there's probably others that you, if you sat down and thought about it and listed all the benefits of heavy pulling out, you could list a lot. But for those two reasons alone, I believe that it's worth having a heavy pulling movement of some description, whether a conventional deadlift or something else, in your program every single week, if you're able. Now, obviously, some people aren't able. Some people aren't able to have the mobility or the accessibility to do those kinds of movements, which is fine. You can still build muscle, like I said at the start of this video, without that pulling movement. But if you're physically able and you have the facilities to do a heavy pull, then do a heavy pull every single week, okay? Because you will see the benefits much, much faster. Now, I've been hinting at this all video, but I haven't mentioned it until now. You don't have to do a conventional deadlift to still get the benefits of doing a heavy pull, okay? Some people's bodies just aren't built for conventional deadlifting. That doesn't mean they can't do a conventional deadlift. It just means they might be better suited to doing a different kind of pulling movement, okay? So if your sport or your competition, like powerlifting, whatever, doesn't depend on your ability to do a heavy conventional deadlift, you don't have to do it. You know, if you're just doing this thing to build muscle, like most of us are, if you're watching this video, I imagine, then you don't need to do a conventional deadlift. You can do if that, you know, suits you, if you enjoy it and you are seeing results with it, then more power to you. Go and do your conventional deadlifts. But for people like me who sometimes don't get I don't have the mobility, the ankle mobility and things like that for conventional deadlifting, then something like a sumo deadlift might be more beneficial, or a rack pull might be more beneficial, or a stiff leg deadlift where, you know, you're just hinging from the hips rather than from the knees as well, or even an RDL, okay, which is kind of like a stiff leg deadlift, but you're pushing the hips back and pushing the hips forward, and you can still load all of those exercises up much heavier than you would load any other exercise, barring maybe a leg press, up. And get all the benefits we've talked about in this video, but you can choose whichever one suits your body most. And the great thing about what I find, all those 4 alternatives, for me at least, and for people that I've coached, they are much heavier on the posterior chain. So when you're doing your squats and your quad heavy days, you can focus on the movements that are going to build the front half of your body, the quads, you know. And when you're doing your heavy pulling movements like your RDLs or your sumo deadlifts or, you know, your stiff leg deadlifts or whatever it is, then you're going to get much more tension and force output through the hamstrings and the glutes, which are going to build the posterior chain. So that's a little bit of an overview of why I feel that heavy pulling movements are a very useful, maybe not essential, but a very useful part of everybody's program who wants to build muscle, and that's why I think you should do them. So I hope that was useful. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy that, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel by hitting the button below. Like this video, drop a comment, let me know what you thought, and I look forward to speaking to you next time on this channel. Cheers.